It's Tournament of Champions time. Hello and welcome into Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm Rick Couri, your host. We are live, as you can see, not in the studio, but at the Doubletree Hotel in Warren Place, because today is the annual news conference for the Tournament of Champions. Now, it's not held until the end of December, just after holidays, just after Christmas, but we are here today talking to the coaches involved. We're going to be talking to Mick Wilson. He's the athletic director who puts this thing together. We'll even have a special guest drop by to talk about the history of the Inside Tulsa Athletics Tournament of Champions coming up right here. Welcome into Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm your host, Rick Couri. We, as you notice, are in a different place. We're here for the Tournament of Champions at the Doubletree Hotel Warren Place. This is the annual news conference before the tournament, which doesn't take place till the end of the month. And we are going to have an absolute bevy of coaches with us. As you can see, we already have some right now. Starting with, to my left, Rachel Crabaugh, from Edmond Memorial. When we have Scott Lowe from Fort Gibson, Clay Conley from Hammon, and Brad Davis from Quinton. Guys and ladies, thank you for being here. I'm going to start with you, Rachel. Edmond Memorial has had one heck of a run, not just in basketball, great football team this year. Things are going well up there.
Yes, it is making it very exciting to have everybody competing at that high level. It's keeping the culture at Memorial fun because the fans are involved and are entertained right now.
There is something to that, isn't there? The more the program is better in all aspects, the more people get excited.
Exactly. No, winning is fun. It is. It makes things a little bit more exciting.
I would imagine so. Tell us about your team thus far.
We have 7 seniors, so we are very loaded with upperclassmen and experience. I have 2 girls who are going D1, which is really nice, and they are wonderful leaders. Janiah Williams going to Oregon, and Avery Jolmstead going to Utah. So they are coming back, and they're playing really well off of each other right now, inside out. Janiah can rebound very well, and Jolmstead can shoot really well. So 2 big powerhouses kind of leading the way for us right now on the offensive and defensive end.
Outstanding. Brad, let's go with you. Tell us about your team right now. And it's very early in the season. We get that. You're starting to develop personalities. What's it like?
Yes. So we have 3 seniors. My core group, so my juniors and seniors, this will be year 3. They've really bought into the culture of how we want to play and how we do things. So we have really high expectations for this year. Really like my group a lot. We're small. We play fast. It's no secret that we're small. Everybody knows we're small. We're going to shoot that thing a lot. That's kind of where we hang our hat and then make things tough on you defensively.
You mentioned culture. Everybody throws that word out. It means something different to everybody. What does it mean to your team?
I think the biggest thing it means for us is not only just kind of like you said, everybody throws that word around these days. It's not something you just kind of say. It's something you live out every day. And the girls have really bought into living out those core values and things that we believe. And I think that's what's been the best part for our culture.
Outstanding. Clay, let's get to you a little bit. All right. So I spent a lot of my youth going through Fort Gibson. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I can tell you some restaurants that used to be there. That won't do you any good. I know your basketball team, though, is underway. Tell us about your group.
Well, we have a good, I think we have a good mix of some experience and then some youth coming up. I think we have a talented sophomore class. We have a lot of kids in that class, but it all starts with our 2 seniors. We have 3 seniors, but we have a 2-headed monster in Lainey Stanley, who is a University of North Texas commit, and then Addie Whiteley has committed to Northeastern State. She's been the 3-time MVP of the conference that we play in. So it starts with those 2, but we've got a good mesh of kids, and at Fort Gibson, it's all about team all the time. We play a team style oriented attack. We play open man basketball at Fort Gibson, and with all the tradition that we've had, it's kind of been that way. My assistant coach is a longtime legend in Fort Gibson, Jerry Walker. So we just have tried to build on everything that he did previously, and so if it's not broke, don't fix it.
It's great when you have that kind of history, and you think about a small town like Fort Gibson. There must be a hoop nailed to every tree over there because they sure seem to start early, don't they?
Yeah, it's crazy. I call Fort Gibson the Mayberry of Oklahoma. It is just an outstanding place to raise kids. And those girls, of course, we've made, I think last year ended a streak of 19 consecutive years in the state tournament, which is a record in Oklahoma. And so we lost in overtime for another opportunity to make it number 20. So our kids are, just super anxious to get back to work and to start another streak. And so that's kind of what it's been about at Fort Gibson. Brad mentioned culture. We have a big sign in our locker room that says tradition never graduates. And so that we believe in that. We believe in next man up mentality, no matter who's on the floor, and the kids buy into it. And so far it's worked for us.
Outstanding. All right, let's go to Clay Conley from Hammon and tell us about your basketball team thus far.
Well, I've got 2 seniors, led by our 6'5" monster in the middle. She's phenomenal for us. And then we've got some guards that have stepped up from last year, and they have the ability to shoot the ball a little bit. I think we're better than we were last year offensively. Got some youth, though, play 2 sophomores and a freshman. One of those sophomores started last year on a state semifinal team. So we bring back quite a bit, but we're still learning quite a bit too.
When you have somebody 6'5" in the middle, got to run things through that.
Yeah, you have to.
You also have to make sure everybody else kind of buys into that. That's something you have to deal with. How did it go?
It's been really easy. They kind of know she's kind of the heartbeat of our offense and our defense, really. And they know that if she gets touches early, it makes everybody else's life a lot easier going throughout the rest of the night. And she's a really unselfish player. If she gets it and sees a double, which she gets most nights, and even triples and more. So she does a good job of kicking the ball out, and our shooters hit shots. And it makes things easy for us in our class. I don't know how easy it makes it for us up here in this tournament, but we're looking forward to the opportunity, and we're just happy to be here.
Well, as Rachel said, winning is fun, and if 6'5" gets you wins on the inside, you're going to go to the inside. That's the way it works. Then everybody's having a good time.
Absolutely, and this group is used to winning. 2023, the year before I got there, they won the state title. Year before, my seniors have been to 3 straight state tournaments and looking to make it number 4. And Hammond's got a really rich tradition in girls basketball and even boys basketball dating back to the Minor Twins. So it's a fun place to be, and there's a lot of tradition there as well.
We're talking about the 59th overall tournament here. Women have only been involved, or girls have only been involved the last few years. Well, a few years, it's been longer than that. But it's terrific to see the ladies involved. And Rachel, for your girls to come play in a tournament that this kind of prestige, and this tournament's known outside the state. What's it mean?
When you come back here, sitting at the luncheon today, it just shows they pay attention to all of the details. And it really is so special for our team to get to play in this. Coming back, returning champs, I don't, knock on wood, I don't like to say that, but coming back after winning it last year, you realize how special that is to put your name in the history books of this tournament. So we want to do it again because it really is a special tournament in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah. Knock on whatever this is, right? Woods up here. What about you, Brad? Coming to this tournament, the prestige in this, maybe I don't want to say pressure, but a lot of excitement, and it's at the time of year that everybody's excited anyway. How are your girls feeling about it?
Oh, they're absolutely ecstatic. From the moment we got the call, and I of course brought them in and asked them, because I believe they actually get to make a lot of decisions. I brought them in, it's like, hey, you guys want to go, and of course they all jumped on it. They were super excited. It's really humbling, you know what I mean? Being from Quinton, small place, they never imagined they would get an opportunity to come play in something like this. So it's just really cool for them.
I would imagine. All right, now let's go back over here to Scott. Playing it to be okay, that's got to be cool.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how do you keep them level, I guess, so they don't get a little too high for this?
Well, for Fort Gibson, we, in our scrimmage schedules, we scrimmage a lot of 5A, 6A opponents, people that, are traditionally good. And so I think we've been there and done that, so to speak. I mean, not at this extreme, but they're just excited, and there's going to be jitters for sure. A lot of them will be nervous. You get to go out there and play on that floor, but it's exciting for the fans and their parents. And I think that's the big thing, is that they get to share this moment with everybody and they get to be together. And I think that's the biggest thing for us. And I was 14 years old when I watched Smithville boys beat Booker T in the semifinals up here, and I've shared that experience with them, and so it gives our kids at least a glimmer of, hey, anything's possible.
Right. Clay, what about your young ladies? This is a big deal coming here, and they've got a big opportunity.
Yeah, it's a huge deal for them. Brad understands this. Being in Hammon, you got a population of probably 300 people, and a lot of these kids will never get the opportunity to kind of go experience something like this. The state tournament is about the biggest thing they've got to experience so far, and I've told them this is going to be way harder than your state tournament ever will be. But they're looking forward to it. I didn't really expect to get a call to be able to come to this, but when I told the girls about it, I didn't ask like Brad did. I just accepted and went on. But no, they're excited. If I can get them to kind of come up here with an open mind and tell them, my message to them is going to be, it's a free roll. Just go play, enjoy the moment, have fun, and compete and see what happens.
All right, so about 300 people in Hammond. The last person out that day, turn off the lights because they'll probably all be at the BOK Center that day. So Rachel, Scott, Clay, and Brad, thank you guys and ladies very much for being here. Best of luck in the tournament, and I hope you guys enjoyed the lunch. They do a pretty good job over there, don't they? Back in a moment with more Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey, Tulsa, we have a crushing recycle play of the day for you. Team Johnson versus paper and cardboard.
They're starting off slow today, probably trying to figure out what to do with those styrofoam plates, since they're not recyclable.
There's the big play we were waiting for. Boom! Completely empty cardboard boxes dunked in the cart. Score big by recycling your cardboard and paper. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T. Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field, and that it's the littlest things that will make all the difference in the long run.
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person, because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with, not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
Hey, you can hear the fun and excitement here. We are back in Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm Rick Couri, your host, and we are at the Doubletree, Warren Place. As we're doing this, of course, for Tournament of Champions. The 59th Tournament of Champions coming up, and the annual news conference was held today. That's why we have all these coaches with us. And once again, we are joined by 4 different coaches. Derrick Bull of Weatherford is here. Shawn Schenk, from Crossing Christian. We have Dorrian Williams from Millwood, and also Grant Proctor from Henryetta Wilson, or Wilson Henryetta, whichever way you want to say that. We'll get to that one in a moment. First of all, I want to start over here with Derrick. We are at the 59th playing of this tournament. This is a prestigious event. Even if you've been here before, it feels different, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Like we were just talking about this before we came on here. Me and Coach Schenk have been here before, and kind of telling those guys about how awesome everything is, not just the playing, but the environment and the prestige and just overall excitement around it, is, and so just excited to be back and looking forward to seeing top-notch competition and just ready.
There's always, you might have been here before, and you might have had some players who've been here, but there's always going to be a few who haven't. How do you get them ready for the atmosphere? It's just going to be bigger.
Yeah, no, it's one of those deals. Once you get here, you'll see for yourself. We returned most of our team from last year, so most of them have experienced it and stuff, so they know what to look for, and I think they're all excited as much as I am. And
ready to get after it. All right, let's go to the other side and get with Grant Proctor. All right, so Wilson Henryetta or Henryetta Wilson, how do you prefer it?
We prefer Wilson Henryetta. So it's Wilson, and then you go parentheses Henryetta. So
there we go.
We're just a community, and then we have a Henryetta zip code.
Right. So for instance, we did that. Okay. So that's how we did it.
That's perfect.
All right. For your ladies, your guys, not very far away to get here. Still, that's a big arena. How are you getting them ready?
One of the things that's going to help us a little bit is we got to play in the state tournament last year, so we got to play in the big house. So that's one of the bigger venues in the state of Oklahoma. And then just the type of kids I have, they really love competition. So kind of the better the team, the bigger the venue, the more they kind of get up for it. So we're really excited to be here.
Looking for a little bit kind of that giant killer thing, maybe?
Well, we hope so.
Tell us about your team thus far.
So we have everybody returning from last year's state tournament run. We're generally young. We have one senior on this year's team, so we're a lot of sophomores and juniors. for the most part, just a lot of the playing experience. We're going to be undersized being a small school, but we do have some really good guard play. And like I said before, we just love to compete.
And you'll get a chance to do that, I promise you. All right, let's get. All right, now we're going to talk with, and I'm going to say this right. It's Shawn Schenk, and he told me to say Schenk because he said like his golf shot. Now,
That's exactly right.
Look, I gave a putt. I'm so bad.
That's right. That's good.
It's not a very good deal. But you're obviously a heck of a basketball coach, and as Coach said, you've been here before. What's it like coming back?
Well, every year's a privilege. I mean, it is an awesome experience. It's it's one of those things that we're humbled by because not everybody gets this invitation.
Absolutely,
and so, it is an awesome thing to be invited. Our kids are super excited about it. I've got some seniors that this is their 4th year. We've been here 4 years in a row, and so they know nothing different, and they're just as excited last year when we got the invitation to come back as they were the first time. It's a really neat tournament they put on really well, put on a great show.
Coaches will tell you at any level early in the season, even if you have a lot of seniors, you want to know what kind of personality that team's going to have. Because it only takes one younger player who's different to change that personality. Not better or worse, just change it. What's this personality of this group?
One of the most connected teams we've had. We've got great senior leadership. We've got great young players as well. But it's just been neat to see through the summer how these kids have kind of come together. It's a fun group to coach. I can actually, coach them. You don't have to worry about that. It's a team that wants to compete. They're super competitive. They played at a high level, and so I don't think any bright lights or who they're playing messes with them. But man, the teams in this thing are so good that you're going to have to play. It's not a matter of if you can handle the bright lights or not. It's, the talent in this tournament is so high.
It is. All right, so let's get with the folks from Millwood, and that's Dorrian Williams. Dorrian, anytime you're playing in a group like this, it's, as Coach just said, there are a lot of really good teams here. How do you keep them from getting big eyes?
I think you just, concentrate on playing your way and what you've been practicing all summer for or, the preseason for, and just focusing on getting better one step at a time. With the competition here, man, it's rough. It really is. But you leave here knowing that you're going to become a better basketball team and more prepared for March, which is all of our goals is to try to do good in March. So we're extremely honored to be here, man. This is a great setting, and so far this will actually be my first year here. Some of my players' first year here, so we're all extremely excited and looking forward to it.
Tell us about your team so far.
So I have a couple. I have pretty much everybody returning. I think I have 4 juniors that pretty much kind of are the leaders of our team. We are pretty deep, I would think. We all say that till the moment happens, right? But I do think we are pretty deep. We got a whole bunch of guys that's gonna get up and compete. And we our message is play for the name on your chest and not the name on your back. And so I think that really resonates for our guys, and that's what they try to go out and do.
Speaking of name on the chest, you're winning the battle on gear thus far. This is an excellent looking, nothing against everybody else. That's a really good looking set of gear right there. Derrick, tell me, I didn't ask you about your basketball team. Give us the character of your group and what they're like.
Very veteran group now. They've been the young guys for a long time. Now they're mostly seniors. I'll start 4 seniors and 1 junior. All guys that have played in state tournaments and been on the big stage and played in big games. So that should be a strength of ours, just overall leadership and experience.
Everybody wants to win the tournament. I get that. More than anything, and I want to get back to all you guys too, as Coach just said, you're going to come out of it knowing a lot more about your basketball team. At the end of this tournament, what is it you really want to find out? Right.
Last year, these guys right here, beat us that first game, hit us in the mouth, and kind of woke us up a little bit. We went on didn't lose again to the state final. So, I felt like that was something we needed, and we needed that test. So, looking forward to that again. And, the field's as tough as it was last year. And, doesn't matter who you play up here. They're going to be good, and you better be ready to play, and you're going to be better because of it.
There's no question about that. All right, let's get on over to Grant. What about you? What is it you want to know most about your team at the end of this tournament? Certainly you want to win it, but you're going to find out more than that.
I think for us it's going to be the short turnaround. It's going to be 3 games in 3 days. My team may be a little more unique than some of the others because we play football and we do 8-man, and so 95% of my roster is still playing football. We're actually going to play in the semifinals this Friday, and so I haven't had any basketball practice yet. So coming into this, we're going to have a little bit of probably fatigue factor, but just like they said, early test, going through that adversity, we really hope that kind of puts us on the right track come March.
You're going to find out in a hurry then. What about you, Shawn? What do you want to know about your group?
Well, it's interesting. Coach Proctor said that about half my team plays football too, and we've had like 3 or 4 practices with them. And so I'm looking forward to see kind of how we can come together and how quickly we can do that. We have some new pieces. But our leadership with Cal Furnish, Cam Parker, who've been in this thing for 4 years, is tremendous. So I know what I'm going to get from a lot of guys, but it's interesting to see what we're going to get from some others. And again, we'd all love to be Dale and be the darlings of this tournament, But again, all of us, your eyes are towards March, and so this is just another opportunity, as Coach Williams said, to get better and kind of see where your team is.
It's interesting though when you have those football players out. They initially come in, they're in football shape. How long does it take to get them in basketball shape?
It does take a little bit of time. It really does. But the awesome thing about the kids that I have is they're competitive. And so they come in, and football kids just bring another level of toughness that you just can't teach. And so practices have been a lot of fun so far. And we're excited to see what we can do.
I was a designated fowler, by the way, when I was in high school. What about your group? What do you want to find out most at the end of this weekend, or the end of that weekend, pardon me?
I just want to see our maturity level. Have we grown? Can we deal with some adversity and move forward? And all those things and all those components are a big part in winning in March. And for our group, that some of our kids have never won, right? So how do you instill some of those characteristics or winning characteristics in our kids? Do we grow? Do we learn? Mistakes are going to happen, but who are we at the end of it? And that's kind of what I'm curious to see. I think we got a great bunch. I think they're ready for the challenge, though. And
it's going to be fun. There's no doubt about that. Well, I want to thank all of you guys for being here. I know you have schools to get back to and teams to coach if you can get football players back. And it's tough. You don't want to cheer against your football team, but you'd really like to have those people.
Winning is good. So win. I mean, I want winners. So
there you go. So thanks to Derrick Bull from Weatherford, Shawn Schenk from Crossing Christians. We've got Dorrian Williams from Millwood and Grant Proctor from Wilson, Henryetta Wilson. I'm going to do it both ways just to be safe. Thanks to you too, and we're going to be back with more. We have more Inside Tulsa Athletics preparing for the Tournament of Champions right here at the Doubletree Warren Place. Back in a moment.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against a tough competitor, plastic.
Don't trust those numbers on the bottom. You have to stick to what you know. Only bottles and jugs found in the kitchen, bath, or laundry. They're quick to pick up. And empty those bottles before sinking that shot.
Always empty your bottles before recycling. Score big by recycling your plastic bottles and jugs. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, your team will always be there for you.
Back at the Doubletree here in Warren Place, more Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm Rick Couri, your host. We're here, of course, preparing for the 59th Tournament of Champions. And again, a bevy of coaches with us. We've got more girls basketball coaches with us. To my left is Shane Coffey from Broken Arrow, then Melody Stewart from Lincoln Christian. We have Carlin Adkism, and Bobby Belveal from Glenpool. Now, I'm going to make sure we pronounced all those right in a minute. But I want to start over here with Shane from Broken Arrow. When we talk about coming into a tournament like this, there's a lot of prestige. I don't want to say pressure, but it is at a certain time of the year. It's a big deal to get ready for. How are you prepping your girls?
Well, first of all, this has been a date that's been circled on our calendar since we got invited. We do view this as a privilege. It's an honor to be able to go up against some top-class individuals and teams as well here over the course of those 3 days after Christmas. Our kids are excited about it. Our preparation is for the final goal, at the end of the year, and we want to play the best that we can to be prepared for that moment. And we feel like this tournament is going to give us that chance to do just that.
Tell us about your team thus far. All teams, as we said to the other coaches, are developing their personalities right now. Even if you have a veteran team, that can change.
Yeah, absolutely. Our team is senior driven. We've got 7 seniors in our program. We've got one that's going to Michigan next year. Her name is Mackenzie Mathern. She's a special player in every way that you can imagine. But our team as a whole is very, very driven. They are very committed to the cause of what they want. They felt like last year we didn't achieve what we really should have achieved. And circumstances went a certain way here and there, but they understand that you can't take anything for granted. And their work ethic has been through the roof, since last May, and they're at a new level, and they know that every game is a different challenge. And they know that they've got to put in the work to get there. And they know that they have to put in the preparation as well mentally to get ready for these games, especially this tournament coming up after Christmas.
And knowing that this is going to mimic a little bit of what you'll find when you go to the States. So this is a big, big deal. Let's turn to Bobby, and I'm going to make sure I'm doing it right. Is it Belveal? Mm-hmm. Bobby Belveal from Glenpool. All right. So tell us about your girls right now.
Our team, this is a first for us. And we're excited about it. It's been kind of a year of first for us over the past few years. First state tournament a couple years ago, and semifinals last year was first time for our school and our program. And this tournament of champions is something that has been a goal of ours.
How are you getting them ready for it? It's a lot of eyes.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to prepare for juggernauts like Broken Arrow and Lincoln Christian and some of those people, but we're just hoping to come in and play hard and bring our style of basketball. And, our kids play really hard and they work really hard. And, we, like I said, we just hope to come in and compete. And like Shane said, the goal is at the end of the year.
Yeah, right.
And I think iron sharpens iron. So, we're looking to play the best teams we can play.
And this is going to do that. Speaking of that, the whole iron sharpens iron, preparing for the end of the year. Melody Stewart from Lincoln Christian, do you use this tournament as that? Do you put it kind of forward as, look, this is what you're going to face later. You got to be able to fight through these things?
Absolutely. And I feel like what an honor it is to come to this tournament, first of all, and the way that they've just amped everything up, from adding at the BOK to just the years that we've been in, it has just been phenomenal. What a tournament to be a part of. So it's first class from the get-go, but for us, it really does mimic that feel of the state tournament. I love the 3 days in a row. I know that our structure of the state tournament's a little bit different now than it has been in the past, but you could see 3 days in a row, and I think that that's very important. And you have to have a quick turnaround on, your scout. Your kids have to be dialed in, and so it lets you really see early on where your kids are at. Gives you a little roadmap to where you need to be before you get to the big deal at the end.
Yeah, it does let you know that personality. And you brought up a great point there. It's not just the kids who have to be on point. It's you guys and your assistants, because you got to turn that scout in a hurry, don't you?
It is. And on teams like this that are well coached, it makes it even more difficult. Yeah, sure. But I think that's what prepares you for that state tournament feel, is because when you get there, everybody's good. Yep. So in a tournament like this, and you're having to turn those scouts and you're having to get that to your kids, and just cross the T, dot the I, and make sure that you've got all of those details about those player personnel and all of that put in place so that you give your kids the best opportunity to be successful. But even our kids, just how it helps them mentally to become the player that they want to be. And with some of the teams that you see here, a lot of collegiate level players that are going to be going on to the next level, this type of tournament helps them individually, not just as a team. For us, it helps our players too.
Absolutely. And any player, players can put themselves on the map with this who might not have been before as well. All right, now I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Carlin, Adkism? Adkism. All right, we're closer. Yeah. Bigger T, thank you very much. Tell Dan Bitson I said hello when you go back over there. They had a heck of a year. Tell me about your basketball team thus far.
Well, it's a veteran team. We have 4 seniors. The seniors had some success last year, going to the semifinals in state, and so they were in the tournament champions last year. So they kind of have some experience, been in this tournament. Just how prestigious it is, and it's an honor for us to be here.
As Coach mentioned, it is a grind of 3 days in a row. Definitely. Which some girls love it, some don't. Yeah. You've got to kind of measure yourself. How are you going to approach it?
Well, honestly, it's a great time to play basketball. Honestly, for me, I think, like I said, we're excited to be there. The kids is already talking about if they're going to practice on Christmas Day or not. So I think it's a good time to play some basketball, and how we measure it is just like the state tournament, like the coaches were saying, we want to play those three games back to back. We want to see where you're at mentally. We know it's going to be a challenge. These 3 teams up here are they're going to give us everything that we can handle anyway. So I think it'll be I think it's a great experience for us.
All right, I want I want to find out, Shane, at Broken Arrow, that's obviously a really large school. You're going to play a mixture of schools. When they go out there against a smaller school, I mean, they don't even know that, do they? It's just 5-on-5.
Yeah, I mean, we tell these kids, once again, this is an honor to be here, and everybody that's here is very deserving of this opportunity. And knowing that you cannot take anybody for granted. You've got to have the mindset. You've got to have the preparation as if it's the biggest game of the year every night that you go out, particularly in this tournament.
Yeah. How are you going to keep them from having big eyes in Glenpool? You were saying it's, first time here. It's still a basketball court. We all saw Hoosiers. We know how you measure it and the whole thing. But that is a different venue. How do you do it?
Yeah, I think 2 consecutive state tournament runs have kind of we're a little experienced now.
Good.
And we were able to go play at the Paycom Center last year before a Thunder game, trying to get bigger venues to play in front of. But our girls are confident. They are. They feel like that they can compete with anybody, and like I said, they play extremely hard and will compete in any situation.
And they're going to do that. So, being over the Christmas break, is that harder?
Well, particularly for our school, it is. I'm just going to say that. When I first got to Lincoln, they wanted me to put a schedule out a year in advance on what we were going to do over breaks, and I thought, wow, this is crazy. I'd never experienced anything like this. But we have a lot of families that travel and that kind of thing, and going to a tournament of champions was not even on the radar for Lincoln Christian when I first got there 11 years ago. So being here, it's kind of become a little bit of what we do over Christmas break. Over the last couple of years, our families have just kind of embraced it, and I think we're going to do something on Christmas night this year with all of our families, and it's going to be fun. So I think our kids have embraced it. I think our families have embraced it, and they're excited about it.
11 years goes fast too, doesn't it?
It goes way too fast.
Way faster than you're thinking. What about you, Carlin? You've got you got to get them ready through this. They still have to be practicing. They still have to have a holiday. How do you manage it?
Honestly, we just we look at it like this. Hey, it's 1 or 2 hours. We give us 1 or 2 hours for a basketball. Then you can go home and open gifts or go have some food. We honestly wanted to be serious at the same time, have fun at the same time. So we're just gonna enjoy it and just play some basketball.
You guys are all seeing kind of the back story of what happens here. Anybody else want to help put this thing together next year? They do a remarkable job, do they not, here doing this? There's no doubt about that. Well, thanks to all these folks. We have Shane Coffey from Broken Arrow, Melody Stewart from Lincoln Christian. We have Carlin Adkism from Booker T and Bobby Belveal from Glenpool. Thank you guys for being here, and ladies for being here as well. Best of luck to your teams in the tournament. Keep everybody healthy. That's the important thing, right? All right, back from the DoubleTree in just a few minutes with more from Inside Tulsa Athletics at the Tulsa Public Schools Big Tournament, the 59th Annual Tournament of Champions.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right. Only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I feel like athletics is so important at Tulsa Central because it's an outlet for some of our kids there. They get a better opportunity to basically give back to our community.
At McLean, the sports is what mainly drives a bunch of the students to come to school every single day and work hard because they want to be able to come from the classroom to the field or the court and show at what they're good at.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm your host, Rick Couri, and we're here at the DoubleTree Warren Place, and we're, of course, talking about the Tournament of Champions, the 59th Annual, and we've had coaches all day, and we continue to have coaches, and we've got some big names with us right now. To my left, Jeff Edmondson from Dale, and we've all heard of Dale in the last several years. We have Eli Brown from Booker T. We also have Chad Clark from OK, my dad's hometown, by the way, and Brian Montanati from Owasso, and everybody knows who Brian is, too. At the Tournament of Champions, we're talking about 3 grueling days, kind of, at the end of the Christmas season. So I want to start by talking to the folks at Dale. Jeff, you guys have been here. A lot of them have been here anyway. Still, it's a Christmas tournament. How do you get them ready to be away from families and that kind of thing?
We have, this is our 3rd year to come to the Tournament of Champions. and it's still just as special as the first time we came. It's just such a big tournament. It's the best boys tournament in the state, and all the best teams are here. So it just feels exactly as special as it was that first time. And the kids get so excited to come up here and play. I've got several coaches' kids. My son plays on the team. Some kids that have grown up around basketball, so they've grown up hearing about the Tournament of Champions. So it is during Christmas break, and the families and the kids have to sacrifice a little bit, but they would all tell you that it's worth it. It's such a great tournament.
Isn't most of the city of Dale up here for that?
We do. We have great support at Dale. They love their sporting team. So, yeah, they all jump on board and come up here, and we have great support. Sometimes it feels like we've got a home court advantage.
That everybody can use one of those, I'll tell you that. Brian, it's not very far from the folks in Owasso. They can drive over here. Your team has experience in doing these kinds of things as well. How are you getting them prepped?
Yeah, so we've got a grueling schedule before the Tournament of Champions. We're headed to Memphis to play #1 team in Tennessee, and then we're actually going to the City of Palms in Florida, Fort Myers, Florida. So we'll be down in Florida from December 17th, and we come back the 24th on Christmas Eve. So there's going to be no rest for the weary with us. But it's the way we want to set up, and to get invited to the Tournament of Champions, it's an honor and a privilege to play against some of the best talent in the state of Oklahoma. And showcase this tournament. So they do it right. Coach Wilson and his staff, it's a first-class tournament in downtown Tulsa.
Tell us about your group. It's going to be very different. Everybody knows your son was a superstar, still is, but without him, things change a little.
Well, he's thankfully he's only a junior, so we still have him, for another 2 years, hopefully. But got a really good group. We've got Julius Wilson. He's playing football right now. He's playing for a state championship in football. He'll add to us. Bowden Williams is a 3-year starter, a kid that's getting recruited by several D1 colleges across the country. Jax Kerr, our 6'11" center that just signed with St. Louis. Kobe Freeman's a quick guard, can play 94 feet, moves the ball well, can score. So we've got some pieces. The key for us is just staying together and playing the right way.
For me, I just forget your son's so young because it seems like he's been there forever and he's always played at such a high level. I'm always thinking he's a senior and on his way out, and I'm sure everybody else up here hopes he was a senior and on his way out. Eli, your groups have always been good. They've always been just tremendously athletic. Tell me about your group this year.
Well, we are fortunate to bring back just about everybody from last year's team. And so our group is tough, and they really love playing together, and they really challenge each other to play hard. That's kind of our mantra, is just to really play hard and get after you a little bit, and then try to really wear you down throughout the course of a game. This tournament is special, like everybody up here has said. This is my second time coming with the team. I came in 2016 with Central High School, and so this is my first time bringing Booker T back to the tournament champion. So we hope to have a lot of fun, and I'm just blessed to be here with these other guys who are really good coaches, who have really good programs, and this tournament has a really good feel. So you got to bring it every night. There is no easy games, not a single one. So you have to really come with it, or there'll be some upsets. So we hope to be the one coming out on top, but it's not going to be easy.
In upsets sometimes, we turn to Chad Clark here from the folks down in OK. Upsets we sometimes think of, it's always the small guy over the big guy, if you will, the Dales over the whoever's. That's not always the case. Sometimes your basketball teams are as good or better. It only takes a few. So tell us about your guys this year.
Well, this is our second trip back-to-back for the Tournament of Champions, and we're very honored to be here. It's the absolute best tournament you could get invited to. Last year was a great experience. We had us a good first round, and then the last two games were kind of out of our control with the other team's size. But with that being said, we got majority of our guys back, and these guys have been playing together. There's pictures floating around from them second, third grade on the same team they are right now. So everybody's very excited in the town of OK for this tournament again.
Tell me just the style of play.
Well, we have multiple guys that can shoot it. We do believe in throwing that ball inside to the big and opening up the outside. But they share the ball really good. Sometimes you wish they would have taken the first shot rather than pass it 2 more times. But they believe in feeding the ball. They're not worried about who scores the points. And we've really worked on our physicality over the summer to make sure we can hang with these big guys. You know what I mean?
So summer had a little bit to do with getting ready for this.
Oh, definitely. No, that's the biggest thing about this tournament is it gives you that additional motivation to prepare. They know it's a big stage. They know we're going to get to play against great teams, great coaches. So their preparation is different.
That's all there is to it. What about you guys, Jeff? You guys have done it, and you've been really successful. Everybody knows that. That comes with a little bit of pressure too, doesn't it? But then how do you keep your guys on that level for a tournament like this?
It does. I think maybe we have an advantage, maybe a little bit unique these days. We've played together since they were in the second grade, and I've got to coach these guys since they were in the second grade. I coached them in Little League ball, I coached them in travel ball, and then I coached them in junior high, and now I'm getting to coach them in high school. So I think playing together is the key for the Dale Pirates. We've played so long together.
That is really cool. But tell us about your style of play right now.
Well, I tell you, I've got really good players. Easton, our guards, Easton Edmondson, Denton Forsyth, and Levi Kelly. One of the best backcourts I've ever coached. And then we've got two bigs that play really physical and have great motors, Jet Higdon and Trey Chambers. I've got sophomore that's coming off the bench, Keldon Mealy. And then I still got two seniors, Jackson Womack and Maddox Caldwell, that shoot it and score really well. So we've got a deep team, and like I said, we've got a team that have played together for a long time. They know what each other's thinking, and like these other coaches have said, they play hard and they like to share the ball. It makes my job really easy.
You know, because you've had this kind of success. I mean, this small school comes rolling in here, kind of feeling like you own the place, or at least you would think some guys would feel that way. Do they come in here with a lot of confidence? And I don't mean overconfidence, but a lot of confidence of the moment's not too big.
No, we know how good the competition is here, and everybody's up for the challenge, but we definitely don't come in overconfident because the talent here is such a high level, but we love to compete at this level, and we just want to give it our all and see what we can do.
Brian, I was going to ask you, how do you get the best out of them at the right times, especially with your schedule, considering that it's going to have to be every night in December?
I think a lot of our guys they've grown up in this tournament. You know, I remember Jalen and Bowden, since they were in second or third grade, we'd always bring them to the tournament. So you don't overlook anybody, and you also understand the importance of playing well here and what it can do for the second half of your season. So, you know, we're not definitely going to overlook anybody. You know, everybody's going to get our full attention who we're playing, but I think it's like the history of the tournament. You know, our experience. You know, I think this is my 5th time coaching in this. So we've had some history of it. We just don't want to be on the opposite side where we get upset.
You know, when you're thinking about coaching in a tournament like this, I mentioned this earlier, one of the other coaches, you got to turn scouting reports in a hurry. Certainly you know who's in the bracket, but how much harder is a coach's job in a 3-day tournament?
Well, I have a phenomenal staff. You know, Ricky Peeker, Jerry Peeker, and James Scott, they do a great job. And we kind of prep a little bit before we get to the tournament. And we have a good idea of the style of play that the teams play because we're basketball junkies. We love to watch basketball. So it's a quick turnaround. We don't get a lot of sleep as coaches. Thankfully for us, it is in our backyard. You know, so we get our kids, they're able to sleep in their own beds. You know, we can shoot in our own gyms. We can watch film at our place. So that's an advantage that we feel like we have. But our coaches, our workhorses, they do a great job of scouting and preparing for our opponents.
Eli, how much sleep you think you'll get right before tournament time?
Not much. Thinking about these guys, man, and the competition, and you know, you pulling your hair out worrying about your first opponent because you want to get the first win, but you're watching them like these guys said. You know, we started preparing back in the summer for who we might get, and you just think about it. And you're like, man, there's some great teams and some great players in here. And, you know, Coach Martinati has been here 5 times, and so you start hearing Dale's been here, 3 times? I mean, this is number 2 for me, and he's 2 in a row here, and I'm like, I got to get with it. I got to catch up.
Yeah, but you've been doing, I mean, we've been here with other schools too, though.
Yes.
But, I mean, you've got a good group that's coming in here, I'm sure, confident as well.
They're confident, but they also understand the magnitude of the games that they're going to play and the competition that they're going to face, and they're excited about the possibilities of facing some of these teams. You know, you kind of wish you could play all 7 other teams because they're all so good, but you know, they're excited about coming, and they've been watching and coming and attending the tournament championships. They were little as well. So all of these kids really love being at this tournament. It's one of the most special tournaments of the year.
Chad, what is it you want to find out about your team when this is all over? Certainly you want to win the thing. That'd be great. But at the end of this, win or lose, you're going to find out something. What do you want to know?
Well, here's a funny story. This is my, as a coach, 3rd time to coach in this tournament champions. We've yet to win a game. Yeah, we want to win the whole thing, but obviously we've set a goal. Let's try to get us a win this year. More than one would be great, but you know, we understand what we're coming up against. But this is very beneficial to the rest of our season. Playing this competition with this pressure on this platform, it's a big deal.
It is. I would say good luck, but I got all the other guys with me, so I'll just say good luck to all of you. So Jeff Edmonson, Eli Brown, Chad Clark, Brian Montanati, guys, thank you very much. Be safe, and as I said, most important thing, keep everybody healthy.
Absolutely.
All right, back with more next, right here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hales means that you have to be consistent, outgoing, and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people no matter how difficult it is.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. I'm your host, Rick Couri, and you see this very familiar face right here to my right. That is my old friend Chris Lincoln here at the Tournament of Champions, the 59th annual, and you can see we're not in the studio. We're at DoubleTree Hotel Warren Place. Chris and I were just having a conversation.
Yeah.
I started here in '82. You started before that.
I came from Mizzou in '74 to KTUL. I walked in on a TV station. The first thing they asked me is, well, give us your TV experience. I said, actually, it's the first time I've ever been at a TV station in my life. But I asked Tom Goodgame, the former general manager, later, I said, well, why would they have hired me? So you had such great enthusiasm, and you came so cheap.
That was the thing.
That was
right?
that was this industry for sure. Right?
That's pretty much how Chris and I have stayed employed all these years.
right.
Is we work fairly cheap.
Exactly,
There's no question. Right. And the reason we wanted to talk to somebody who's been around this long is the history of this tournament.
Incredible. It really is so impressive. I was talking to Mick Wilson earlier, and what they have done and the upgrade. There's no comparison. This is the tournament, state of Oklahoma. And I'm so glad to see, 1999, they had the girls' brackets, too.
Yes.
So girls, boys, the best team. I love the fact you feel like it's a Hoosiers event. You get the big schools, sometimes you get the small schools, sometimes you get the big upset and surprises. Always so many great stories. I like hearing Barry Lewis talk about some of the great games he remembers, too. Edmond Memorial last year.
Yes.
They come back to defend their title this year again. The Wilson, I was sitting with the Wilson coach at lunch, and he was showing me his roster. They have 6 kids with the same last names. I said, Coach, how's that? He said, well, we have a set of twins, and we have one's a senior, one's a junior, one's a sophomore, and he said, they have one more kid in 8th grade. So it'll be interesting to watch Wilson this year, too.
And what we've seen is these small, as you said, the small schools like the Dales come in here and provide these upsets, which is Hollywood-type material.
Oh, exactly.
So
it is a Hoosiers movie. It really is. Fantastic. And I love the fact that you get some great individuals. And then teams that do, I've seen teams here, Rick, that be 0-3 in the Tournament Champions. They're going to win a state title.
Yes.
Because this competition is just incredible. They're the best competition in the state. And I love seeing, of course, Owasso. I said, your kid's a senior now?
He's a junior. I know. I thought the same thing. I mean, it just seems like he's been around forever.
Forever. What a great player, too. And that whole family. I asked him, is he any more international travel? Yeah, Chris, we're going back to Italy this year, and they're playing a tournament in Greece. So they spread the world of Tulsa basketball all over the place. And Rick, I know from you, long suffering, a tough TU football season. Isn't it good to be back to basketball now?
Well,
the whole state.
especially in something along this, because there's such a feeling to this tournament being at Christmas. Now, when you were covering it for television, and of course you're doing this Oklahoma sports scene now, I don't know about you, I'm looking for the people that are stories. I mean, the Dales are a story, but it's the people inside the Dales, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I mentioned the 4 players with all the same last names playing for Wilson is a great story, too. And then Montanati's kid, of course, with his national, international exposure and stuff is a great story. The coaches themselves are great stories too, Rick, as you well know. But for anybody who's a basketball junkie, what a way to spend a day, huh? Coming to BOK, it's first game at 9 o'clock in the morning, and all the way to 7 o'clock at night, maybe probably around 9:30, 10 o'clock. But it's just a great atmosphere, first class all the way. And Rick, I'm so impressed with the job that obviously Gil Cloud started, and Mick started before that, and Robert Sprague. I mean, has a great legacy. And Robert was like me before they went to BOK, before it was there. It was at Edmond at Memorial High School for 20 years or something too. So, but it's a great history of Tulsa, great history of the state of Oklahoma, great way to really promote our high school product. And got some great players out there, great coaches. And just come out there and enjoy it, because I know it's the day after Christmas. Hopefully all the packages are taken care of and all that stuff. Leave it for the wife to clean up. And head down to be okay and enjoy this trip with us. We have a great time.
Well, let's be honest. By the day after Christmas, you're going to want to get away from your family anyway, right?
True,
so this is an excellent way for you to get up and get away. For those who haven't been to a sporting event in the BOK,
oh yeah,
that venue is just tailor-made, isn't it?
No doubt. And I was impressed the other day. We had the Ice Holders had their annual teddy bear toss game, and they lost 4-0. It's supposed to toss teddy bears in the first goal, but I guess they got over 4,000 teddy bears tossed out. They had almost 15,000 people to be okay. And this tournament draws bigger and bigger crowds all the time. And what an experience for the kids. You know this.
Yes.
To say, hey, I played the BOK where I've seen Oklahoma State play. I've seen the Oklahoma City Thunder play there. I've seen OU play there. Now I'm on the same court. That's great for the kids.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It is the Tournament of Champions, of course, as we've said, the 59th annual. Chris Lincoln from Oklahoma Sports Scene. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
As always, my buddy. Good to see you, friend. And I want to get introduced as the old guy, but that's I am old. I forgot about that.
He's older than me. Let's leave it at that. Back with more in a moment here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey, Tulsa, we have a crushing recycle play of the day for you. Team Johnson versus paper and cardboard.
They're starting off slow today, probably trying to figure out what to do with those styrofoam plates, since they're not recyclable.
There's the big play we were waiting for. Boom! Completely empty cardboard boxes dunked in the cart. Score big by recycling your cardboard and paper. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I love Will Rogers Athletics because it helped me physically, spiritually, and emotionally through all the journeys I've been through at that school. All of the support staff helped me a lot, and it's just an amazing school.
Athletics at Will Rogers changed my life because it became a second family. With the support of my coaches and teammates, it's helped me gain confidence, work as a team, and will help me in college and in life.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Rick Couri here with the boss. This is Mick Wilson. He's the athletic director. All right, we have coaches. We've had coaches. You got a lot of coaches around here. You have to, I would think right now, almost be giving a sigh of relief because it's not quite here, but most of the work has been done, hasn't it?
That's great that you recognize that, Rick, because yeah, we have. It's we're kind of on the downhill now. It's all about getting out the basketballs and just seeing who can put it in the steel hoop the most time. So. Yeah, a lot of work's been done. My staff has done a great job, whether it's been Crystal Marquardt and Emily Stone and Jason Selman and Lisa Norman and Steve Freebus. Just our team, they've done a great job. And, we're looking forward now to just showing up and having some basketball games. And we're hoping there'll be some really, really good ones.
Oh, there'll be some great ones. One of the things about the venue, the BOK was built as a concert arena, really, that hosted sporting events. And initially, that was an adjustment for them, but they've made that adjustment. How easy has that setup become through the years?
It's really, we've become familiar with it now, going on our fourth year being there. They're so hospitable. They just open the doors and let us kind of do our thing, and they stay back and support, and we pick their brain on certain things, but for the most part, they let us do what we need to do. And so, at the end of the day, we're trying to put a good product out there because they're numbers driven and they want to have attendance and they want to have fans. So that's important to them and it's important to us as well. But I think more important to us is making sure that our kids, the coaches, and their fans come and have a very memorable experience, something that they can leave here feeling good about.
And I don't think many people understand. That goes very deep. They have to have places to stay. They have to have an idea of where to get the catering they need or what. There's a lot that goes into this. How much of that are you guys involved with, and how much do you say, look, here's the time period, here's where you're going to be, now start working?
Well, that's a great question. And we tell some of the both. Let's just put it that we do both things there. We do line out their agendas and kind of tell them obviously when they're going to play. We do everything from trying to find them shoot around places or practice places if needed. And then beyond that, we recommend a list of people that have either sponsored the hospitality room or been part of buying ads in the program and things like that, so that we reciprocate some of that goodwill back to our folks. And so we provide them with a lot of information of, go see this person, go here, and get discounts and things like that for teams that are here. So we do some negotiating ahead of time, but we try as much as we can, Rick, to make this an easy stay for our coaches. We tell them, let us do the work. You just come and coach the games, and we're going to try to get you through this.
And you don't have any idea how important that is for a coach who at this point is thinking about the holidays and 3 games in a row, and the last thing they want to think about is, hey, where do we get our burgers or whatever. Now, the other thing that happens here is you're the guy who helps kind of put this thing together when it comes to picking teams. which means you got a big old target on your back for anybody who didn't get picked who wants to come here. What's your process every year?
Well, we get some of that. I think the real magic is trying to see who's got the most underclassmen, which teams are performing well late in the season. You know, there's been times we miss. I mean, let's be honest with you. My son still gives me a hard time that we never had Trey Young in the Tournament of Champions, and he lets me hear about that quite often. But, you know, it's a little bit sometimes of a dice roll, but you hope that you pick the right teams. And so I think the formula is returning players, whether they won a state championship or real close to doing that with a bunch of returners, because the last thing you want to do is offer a team and they had 6 seniors that maybe it's not going to be the same team. So there is a method to the madness there. And beyond that, you obviously look at some of the smaller schools and how they're going to match up coming into play, some of the 6A schools or 5A schools. So, you know, sometimes we've had people come and there's been upsets. As you know, Rick, there's been a Class A or a Class 2A school beat someone large. And then there's been times when there's blowouts, and sometimes you just chalk it up and learn from it. But for the most part, I have to be honest with you, there's not a bad team here. They're all here because they're deserving in some shape or form. So again, I think just trying to identify those teams, and then you do a lot of talking to coaches. Like I've already had 2 coaches today recommend some teams for next year and the year after that they know they have a lot of young kids and they're going to be really, really good. The problem now lies, Rick, with high school having the new transfer rule is picking a team. And that happened to us this year. I don't want to say the team's name, but we had a team identified. And the coach called me after we had extended the offer and said, you know, I had 3 kids walk in and transfer. And so I don't think we're not the same team that you offered. And so it was nice of him to at least be honest rather than come and go through the tournament not as the same team that we offered.
When they actually toss that first ball up, is that when you can completely relax and just have some popcorn?
Well, there is some of that for sure. There's a sigh of relief, but again, in order for us to make the experience memorable for everyone involved, I think we have to be on call, so to speak, and be ready to answer and deal with problems. And there aren't a lot of things that we have to do with the fans because the BOK Center folks and the Oakview group do such a good job of managing. Their ushers are great, so they do a good job with that experience. So there is some relief, but on call, so to speak.
Yeah, on call, and that is what this guy is. He is the boss. That is Mick Wilson, the athletic director of Tulsa Public Schools. Back with more coming up in just a few seconds right here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against a tough competitor, plastic.
Don't trust those numbers on the bottom. You have to stick to what you know. Only bottles and jugs found in the kitchen, bath, or laundry. They're quick to pick up. And empty those bottles before sinking that shot.
Always empty your bottles before recycling. Score big by recycling your plastic bottles and jugs. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, you know your team will always be there for you.
What a great time we've had here inside Tulsa Athletics live at the Doubletree Hotel at Warren Place for the Tournament of Champions. I want to thank all the coaches who stopped by, everybody from the big dogs in Owasso's Brian Montanati and the big dogs at a place like Dale and Jeff, who was with us a little earlier, but everybody in between. Remember the 26th, 27th, and 28th at the BOK. You'll see the best basketball teams in Oklahoma as you have for 59 straight years. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks right here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.